Okay. Okay, this is Gauranitai from ISKCON Vrindavan. So just now we briefly went to Vrindavan and came back. And this is Sri Krishna Balaram from ISKCON Vrindavan as well. Radha Shyamasundar. This is Krishna Balaram in Sri Krishna Balaram Temple. And this is Sri Radha Shyamsundar from ISKCON Vrindavan. Okay, let's offer our prayers to the spiritual teachers. Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chaksurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Bhakti Vinasha Narsimha Iti Namine. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mataji can see the screen, right?
Yeah, can. Very clear.
Okay. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Okay, so we're gonna rotate among 5 participants here. Mataji, you can go first to read.
Call me,
Yeah.
Understanding of Gita. Out of these 5 basic subject matter in Bhagavad Gita, it is established that the Supreme Godhead or Krishna or Brahman or the Supreme Controller or Brahma, you may use whatever name you like, is the greatest of all. The living beings are in quality like the Supreme Controller. For instance, the Lord has control over the universal affairs of material nature. Material nature is not independent. She is acting under the directions of the Supreme Lord. As Lord Krishna said, Maya Daya Sana Prakti Suyati Sa Chara Charam. This material nature is working under my direction. When we see wonderful things happening in the cosmic nature, we should know that behind the cosmic manifestation, there is a controller. Nothing could be manifest without being controlled. It is childish not to consider the controller.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. So among the 5 topics, one of the topic is Ishvara. Ishvara means controller. We are the small controller. The Supreme Lord is the Supreme Controller, Paramatma or Ishvara or Param Ishvara. Okay, all right. So we are entering. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing for a while. There's something not so right. Okay, now it's better. Okay, so before this we did chapter 8. What is the topic of chapter 8? Anybody can recall? What is the title?
Absolute knowledge.
That one is number 10.
Attaining the absolute.
Attaining
the absolute.
Attaining the Supreme.
Supreme.
Okay? So attaining the Supreme is all about what it should be our state of mind at the time of death. So all that we covered. We also covered the story of Ajamila. Okay, so in chapter 9, we are going to get the most confidential knowledge. So we want to know, we have done knowledge, we have done more confidential knowledge, and we are now doing most confidential knowledge. So probably we have now realized that we have gone through these phases. Okay, so firstly, I would like to remind that Bhagavad Gita, as you all are aware, is always mentioned as the essence of all scriptures. Okay, if you put all the Vedas together and then you just take the essence of it, then you get the Bhagavad Gita. Inside the Bhagavad Gita, there is very important 6 chapters. Okay, so we have 18 chapters, so you divide into 3, you have 1 to 6, you have 7 to 12, and then you have 13 to 18. So like that, you have 6, 6, 6. Okay, so in the middle, you have the 7 to 12, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So middle 6 chapters. So if you take these 6 chapters and you condense it, then you will get chapter 9 and chapter 10 as the most confidential chapters. The essence of Bhagavad Gita is inside in the 6 chapters, chapter 9 and 10. So this is appearing exactly at the center of the Bhagavad Gita. So among these 6 chapters, this is the essence. Okay. In the chapter 9, we will see which sloka particularly is the most confidential knowledge. So just as a overview, how much we have covered in level 1, 2, 4, 6, 7 slokas only in level 1, and this time for level 2 we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Okay, so this is how we have gradually moved. Chapter 2 to 6 we have confidential knowledge. This is where we learn about matter versus spirit, which means the body versus soul, okay, or Sankhya Yoga. And then when you move to chapter 7, Krishna starts introducing devotional service. Krishna will speak about the material nature, that is his energy. Okay, all right, and then he brings us to chapter 9. In chapter 7, Krishna introduces the devotional service. In chapter 9, he is teaching us how to perform the pure devotional service. If you remember, in chapter 8, we covered through Karma Yoga also you can attain God realization, and then you have Dhyana Yoga, you have Hatha Yoga or Jnana Yoga. So these are all mixed Bhakti. Okay, but when you come to chapter 9, the most confidential knowledge is about pure Bhakti. Okay, it deals with devotional service only Bhakti, no other motivation inside there. Okay, so confidential knowledge, more confidential, and most confidential. So what are we going to cover in chapter 9? Krishna will talk about his majestic aspect. Okay, how he controls the nature. And then Krishna will say how he reciprocates with the excellent pure devotion. All right, so like this, putting in perspective. Okay, chapter 2 to 6, knowledge of spirit and soul, spirit, soul, and body. Knowledge which brings about enlightenment about Krishna consciousness. So you can see this first chapter 7 talks about devotional service as well as the chapter 9. But why the chapter 8 was brought in is to show you what is the benefit, where do you go from there. Okay, so after establishing that, then Krishna goes in further, deeper. Knowledge about pure unalloyed devotion. Unalloyed means free from mixture. Okay, no mixed, pure. So just like how in chapter 3 Krishna talks about karma yoga, and then chapter 4 you get transcendental knowledge, and chapter 5 is karma yoga work in Krishna consciousness. So chapter 3 has general karma yoga, and Krishna elaborated further in chapter 5. So similarly, in chapter 7, Krishna talk about devotional service, but he elaborates in chapter 9. Okay, so this is the general understanding. You will see why there are so many knowledge. Okay, so because Krishna takes us gradually through the process. Okay, so it is said that it is a tangent. Chapter 8 is a tangent. Okay, after 7, and then it touches here, chapter 8, and then it continues again talking about devotional service. Okay, so otherwise chapter 7 and 9 identical. Okay, chapter 8 is just an additional information. Okay, before we move on to pure devotional service. Okay, Krishna covered important points before we move on. Okay, so like I mentioned, Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all scriptures. So if you can imagine Bhagavad Gita as a sandwich, so the first 6 chapters talks about karma and dhyana yoga, and then the middle 6 chapters talk about bhakti yoga, The final 6 chapters talk about Jnana Yoga. So inside the Bhakti Yoga, chapter 9 and chapter 10 are the most important. Okay, so we will move to 9.1. Can we have somebody to read the English? Jai Prabhu. Or anybody else also can. We have very few.
Yeah, Mataji, I will read.
Can Mataji.
Yeah, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart to you this most confidential knowledge and realization, knowing which you shall be relieved of the miseries of material existence."
Okay, so we have 2 points here as I've highlighted. So there are one very important requirement for someone to hear spiritual knowledge. He has to be free from envy. Okay, so usually in this material world, we envy people, right? I think I had also covered this in level 1, saying that we also we are envious of people. Okay, like when somebody has more money or more successful, or they have a better brain, or when they have better looks, so we are always envious of them. Okay, similarly, people are also envious of Krishna because of the same thing, because Krishna is the most good looking, or he's the strongest. Okay, so in this case, in Arjuna's case, Arjuna is not envious. Okay, let me just see that. Okay, so in this case, Arjuna is not envious, and Krishna appreciates that, and that is why Krishna is going to give Arjuna the most confidential knowledge, by which, so the result will be, he will be relieved of the miseries of material existence. So number one must be non-envious to hear properly. Okay, the number 2 point from this verse is that one becomes advanced by hearing about Krishna. What does it mean by advancing? He becomes free from material desires when he continuously hears properly, and with that he cultivates devotional service. So this is how he becomes relieved of the miseries. Okay, so 9.2. Roja Mataji, are you there?
Sorry, excuse me, Kasthuri Mataji.
Yes.
The previous verse, right? Okay.
Sorry?
The previous verse, 9.1. The previous verse. Okay. So, I mean, how does this apply to the material world? That means we should not be envious.
Yeah, because Krishna is going to give the most confidential knowledge touching on devotional service. So to reap the proper benefit, we have to hear free from envy. So if you're always just like in normal day to day, right? If you want to take an association from somebody, if you're actually envious of that person, how much can we actually imbibe the thing that they are giving us? We always with prejudice, right? We always cannot take in 100%. So to really hear, to get the full benefit of it, we should not have that envy in our heart when we want to hear.
That means it can be anybody. It can be your teachers, it can be your friends, it can be your well-wishers. Is it? Or is it
envy is like in everybody's, in every situation. So
because in this world, I don't think we'll envy Lord, right? Because we always find the Lord is a supreme being in this world. So there's no way that we're going to envy the Lord above.
Actually, the very reason why we are here in this material world is because we had envy. It is that is the understanding. If we are in the spiritual world, so why are we coming down to the material world? Because for a split second we would have thought, how nice Krishna is enjoying, why don't I also enjoy? So immediately, okay, material world is your playground, so be it, you can enjoy. So like that, Mataji. Okay, so we move.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Okay, Mataji, you go ahead, Mataji.
Raja Vidya Raja Goyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Priyatka Samagamam Dharmam Yam Sukham Kartum Avyayam. This knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting and it is joyfully performed.
Okay.
Harikita, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Mataji, can I ask you some questions? Just direct questions from the verse only, okay? So, can you see this word here, Raja Vidya?
Yeah.
Okay, can you tell me what is the meaning in English?
Is it
King of
king of
education.
education?
Yeah, king of education. And then let's go to Pavitram.
Is it secret?
Okay, let's go to Raja Guhyam first. Raja Guhyam.
Most secret.
Okay. Pavitram.
Purest.
Okay. Susukham.
Everlasting.
Sukham.
Sukham is joyful.
Yes. Correct, Mataji. Very easy, right? Sanskrit is so easy. Okay, so Raja Vidya means king of education. Just like a king is a supreme person in a country, in a certain kingdom. So like that, this knowledge that Krishna is giving in this entire Bhagavad Gita is the king of knowledge. So Krishna declares that this knowledge is the topmost knowledge. And then Raja Guhyam is very secret. It's actually very secret. Not everybody can take it. That's why Krishna hidden it inside in the middle of the Bhagavad Gita. Why? I will tell later. Okay, and it's purest. Pavitram. Pavitram in Tamil itself is pure, right? It's pure knowledge because it is not laced with any intentions or motivations, self-interest, and then it gives direct perception because it's like you can really perceive it yourself. You can feel it. That is what it means by direct perception. Okay, if you talk to so many, if you have like continuously associating with devotees, they will share a lot of things that they have actually directly perceived by either hearing or feeling or seeing. Okay, it's directly perceived, so nothing is impossible. And what else? Joyfully perform. So you can see this picture here. They're always happy. Nobody feel morose in kirtan. You don't really see people like that. So they are always happily jumping and dancing and walking and running, playing instruments. So this is something happily done, joyfully performed. Okay. So when the problem when we become attached or identify ourselves with the body, that is where we become morose. So the moment we rise above that platform that I'm not the body, I'm the soul, and then you identify yourself with the Supreme Lord, then the life becomes joyful. Okay, so it's always the detachment that is making us morose. Okay, so bhakti can be performed by anyone and everyone at any age, whether it's a human being or animal. Okay, so let's go through some of the examples. This is an example. Even a baby in the womb can perform bhakti. So in this situation, there is a baby in here. There's a fetus. Who can tell me who is this personality in the womb? Actually, we can give two examples. But here I have one picture. Who can tell me who is this inside here? If you have read Bhagavatam, then you would know. Yashoda Priya Mataji, any idea? Who did Lord Vishnu come and give darshan inside the womb? To what baby?
To the Lord Krishna.
Okay, there is some danger going to come upon this baby. Okay, somebody released Ashwatthama weapon, and the person doesn't know how to retract it, and the Ashwatthama weapon. Sorry, Ashwatthama released Brahmastra. Okay, Brahmastra coming to attack this baby in the womb. Okay, and he doesn't know how to retract it, and Vishnu has to come and protect the baby. Who is this baby?
I think this King Parasit.
Yes, it's Parikshit Maharaj. Okay, next quiz. This is a person who became a deer, and when he appeared as a deer in the deer form, he performed bhakti. He placed himself around the ashram among the association of the sages. Who is this person?
King Bharata.
King Bharata. And in which body he performed the bhakti?
That one. Carry that one.
It's a deer. It's a deer.
Oh, you mean the deer?
Yeah. Okay. He was a sage, and he was a king, And because of the attachment towards the deer, he actually forgo his austerities. And at the time of death, he was thinking about the deer. And when he died, he attained the body of a deer in the next birth. And he realized that he has actually wasted his life by thinking of deer at the time of death. And he gotten the body of the deer. But this deer is not like an ordinary deer. It stayed around a particular ashram. There were a lot of devotee sages there, munis, and he he sat there and he taken prasadam and listening to the kathas. And that way, when the deer died at the end, it became Jada Bharat in the next birth. So the Jada Bharat perfected his life, and then he went back to Godhead. Okay, this is from Bhagavatam. So this is to show that even an animal can perform bhakti. So it's so beautiful. See that? Okay. So next life, he became Jada Bharat. So can you see this? Yeah. Can you see this guy? Everybody is like, like very steady. But this guy is actually, it appears like he's limping. But actually what he was trying to do is that he's trying not to step on ants. So when the king that he was carrying, I forgot the king's name, Jada Bharat, and what's the king's name, Mataji? I forgot. Even Guru Maharaj also gave class. And the king got annoyed. What is this person? He's jumping and I cannot sit comfortably. So he actually scolded this Jada Bharat and said, you don't know how to carry, like that. Then he said, no, actually, I wanted to avoid stepping on the ants. Then, there's a lengthy conversation that this Jada Bharat, Jada means a fool, a stupid man, a fool that really don't care about anything because he remembers his past lives. So he doesn't want to have any attachment to anything and he wants to just perfect his life. So the conversation will go like that and he will give spiritual knowledge to the king. So this is Jada Bharat. So finally he will perfect his life and he will go back to Godhead. Okay, this is also in Bhagavad. This is Bhagavatam, this also, this as well. Okay, and so this to show that not only intelligent people can perform bhakti. Sometimes we think, oh, I'm not so clever to understand sastras. I'm not so clever to understand Bhagavad Gita. So this is an example to show that even the foolish person, if he is in the devotional service, he can attain perfection. Okay. Next is we can perform bhakti while we are living and while we are dying. Whose example is that? Who perform bhakti at the time of dying?
Parasit, okay.
Not really. He's not at the deathbed yet. We saw the story last week. Anybody else? Who performed bhakti at the end of his life? Almost end of his life. Roja Mataji. His name starts with A. Okay, let's see if you can recall if I showed you this picture. Who is this? There's Vishnudutta there and there's Yamadutta trying to rip off the soul from the body. And suddenly this person called out.
Ajamila.
Yeah, so he can perform bhakti at the deathbed. Okay, next is this one. Another example, even an animal can perform bhakti is Gajendra, king of elephant. Okay, when he was attacked by a crocodile, he performed the prayers and he offered the lotus flower, and the Lord came on Garuda and saved him, rescued him. Okay, in the animal body, elephant. Did we actually know that even the Asura can perform bhakti? So this is demon Vrittasura. So we will see the story shortly. Okay. And another example is Prahlad Maharaj. Devotional service can be performed at any age, not have to wait until 50 years old or 60 years old, wait for retirement, then perform. Okay, even a 5 years old child also can do. Okay, so this is a story of Vrittasura, demon Vrittasura. Demon Vrittasura's story is in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6. So there are about 4 chapters on it. Okay, and to summarize, the story started with it has to be connected to the person he was previously. Look at the left picture. Okay, he was actually King Chitraketu in previous life. Okay, he was a great devotee towards the end of his life. Okay, so but what happened was After he became a great devotee and he left the palace, so-called retirement, right? As he was traveling, he could space travel, right? So when he passed by a place where all the sages were seated and Mother Parvati is seated with Lord Shiva, he actually made fun of them for some reason. Okay, he laughed at them, he ridiculed Lord Shiva. And Mother Parvati got so angry, she cursed him to be a demon. So what happened in another situation? A yagya was being performed by somebody to kill Indra. Okay, this person, the person who was doing the yagya has mistakenly chanted the mantra to produce enemies that can kill. He actually produced enemy to kill Lord Indra, but somehow this demon came out. This demon is Vritrasura. Okay, and then there was a great fight between Lord Indra and Vritrasura. So can you see the small elephant here? This is actually white elephant. On the white elephant is Lord Indra. Lord Indra's Vahana is white elephant, and you can see Vritrasura is huge. He is very huge. Okay, so this is how he appeared from the yagya, and then there was a huge fight. Okay, and during that fight, guess what they were talking about? They were talking about devotion. So Vritrasura was actually preaching to Lord Indra because he felt that Lord Indra was so, materially attached, with his power and everything. So he was actually speaking to the demon. The demon is talking to Lord Indra. And then Sri Sukadeva Goswami described this way. Vritrasura and King Indra spoke about devotional service even on the battlefield. And then, as a matter of duty, they again began fighting. All right, my dear king, both of them were great fighters and were equally powerful. Okay, so they were fighting. There's one time actually Vritrasura already defeated Lord Indra, but then he asked him to get up, fight again, like that. Okay, so the next round, this time Indra was more powerful and he severed Vritrasura's remaining arm. Vritrasura then assumed a gigantic form and swallowed King Indra. So can you see, he's so powerful that he can actually swallow King Indra. But Indra, being protected by the talisman known as Narayana Kavacha, was able to protect himself even within Vritrasura's body, so because he was swallowed by Vritrasura, right? Then he actually emerged from the Vritrasura's abdomen and he severed the demon's head from his body. Okay, so and this whole process itself took 1 year to finish. Okay, so you can see Vritrasura, even though he was actually so powerful that he can actually defeat Lord Indra. Okay, and when he swallowed Lord Indra, he was already in Samadhi. Okay, he was already went back to Godhead already. Okay, so you can see Guru Maharaj explained that you can see even demon can be great devotees. So we have to be very careful. We don't know who is a devotee, so we cannot judge somebody by by their external appearance. Okay, so Guna Mataji, are you there? Could you read this first, please? No? Vritrasura has deep insight for a demon. Despite fighting for his life, he speaks on various principles of Bhakti Yoga. The first is to recognize the fleeting nature of all appearance, fame, relative, longevity, and everything else in this world. Understanding the transient nature of such things serves as an impetus for one for high meaning and eternal life. The soul is eternal and thus it needs greater fulfillment than basic bodily pleasures. So he's actually preaching about the need for a soul instead of bodily need. Okay, so finally Vritrasura went back to abode of Sankarshana. Another to see is another example is Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur was born in a Muslim family, but due to his attachment to and his dedication chanting the Maha Mantra, he is given the name Nama Acharya, spiritual teacher of the holy name. So this is another example. One was demon, another one born in a Muslim family. Okay, so this not define a devotee. Okay, 9.3. Guna Mataji, are you there? Or somebody else? Roja Mataji, can?
Yeah. Ashrada Danana Purusha Dharma Syasya Parantapa Aprapya Mam Nivartante Mrityu Sansara Vatmani. Those who are not faithful in this devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of enemies. Therefore, they return to the path of birth and death in this material world. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Mataji. So the important point here is the faith. Okay, so faith is very important. It's a very important quality to perform devotional service. And how faith is obtained? By hearing, by associating with nice devotees, by reading books that are Krishna consciousness. So in this way, when we practice the process of Krishna consciousness, also it will increase our faith. So it's both the means and the goal. Okay, and so Krishna is telling the other way, who are not faithful cannot attain me, and they will come back to the path of birth and death. So that is the importance that Krishna put on devotional service. Next one. Anybody volunteer? Can Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, can hear you.
Fools derive me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the Supreme Lord of all that be.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. So we hear a lot of things, a lot of extraordinary things about Lord Krishna. And then we also saw how Krishna said devotees derive so much of pleasure in performing devotional service. And yet we wonder why not everyone surrendered to Lord Krishna. It's because of this reason. Krishna is describing here, because when Krishna comes in human form, in two-handed form, people think that he's an ordinary person. People think he's, he's some person, he's some great person in the history, some great man, some great teacher. Okay, fine, he's so rich, he's so strong. That's probably because of his karma. Okay, so they view Krishna as an ordinary person. They think that, oh, he can't be God. He just looks like us. So what is so special about him? Okay, so they become bewildered. Okay, they think people think that he's a statesman, that kind of thing. They define Krishna in that sense because they see Krishna comes and performs ordinary things. Okay, or maybe he is just a magician. So for this kind of people, Krishna is telling they do not know my transcendental nature. So they do not know my transcendental nature. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They think that, oh, Lord Ram is here, he is struggling so much. He went through so much of suffering. No, the Lord goes through this is out of his own free will, because he wants to show some example. Remember the verse that says that whatever action the great man performs, the ordinary man will follow. So like this, they are coming here to set an example. It's not because, oh, Lord Rama is suffering so much. So we see this kind of messages, being spread like that. So this is all misconception. Okay, so for those kind of people, Krishna is telling this. So what to speak of normal, ordinary people like us? Even Lord Brahma was bewildered when Krishna was playing, feeding with the Gopas, and Lord Brahma thought, I don't think our Supreme Lord behaves such way. This must be some other magicians. And then he tried to hide the cows and the Gopas, but Krishna expanded to that many Gopas and cows. And then Lord Brahma realized, oh my God, I got actually bewildered, and I actually misunderstood the Supreme Lord. Okay, so this is the reason many people cannot accept Krishna, cannot understand Krishna, and he is not meant to be understood by everybody. Okay. Okay, here Krishna is also saying there are different types of worshippers of Lord Krishna, and they attain different destination. So this is like a summary. Okay, you can see this picture here. Krishna is on the top with his pleasure potency, that is Srimati Radharani. And there are two images here at the bottom. On the left side, there are four kinds of people who do not surrender to Krishna. And on the right, there are four kinds of people who surrender to Krishna. Okay, and then Krishna also spoke about how people who think that God is impersonal, or he's just a light, or he's just an energy, so when they die, where do they go? They enter the effulgence, the Brahman, the light. Okay, and then those who are atheistic, they don't accept there is God. Okay, and there are people also worship demons. Okay, and then we have these pious people. Okay, they can be coming to Krishna because they are distressed. What is the other three things? Anybody can recall? There are four types of pious people.
Foolish people.
Sorry, no, four kind of people who comes to Krishna, who surrenders to Krishna, or comes to pray to Krishna.
Krishna. Inquisitive, search for knowledge.
Yes, knowledge.
Search for knowledge. And who are distressed.
Distress, correct.
For wealth.
Wealth, one more.
Wealth.
Curious, one who is curious. Who is God look like? So they have these kind of questions. And those who already know that who is God, they want to know more. These are the seeker of knowledge. And it said that the fourth one is the best, because they want to get more knowledge. Because people who are distressed, when they come to pray, after the distress is gone, they probably don't pray anymore. And people who want wealth, also the same. Probably after they feel better, then they don't pray anymore. And curious people who are curious, probably they get some knowledge, some information, some answers, and then that's about it. Their search ends. But those who seek knowledge endlessly, they will get information. Okay, so it's unlimited. So this is the best. All right, so we have to understand that it is not the same for everyone. And then 9.13. Anybody? Here Krishna describes about pure devotees, because we are in the pure devotional chapter, right? So Krishna is describing who are these pure devotees, what do they do? Anyone?
Yeah. Oh, son of Pratha, those who are not deluded, the great soul, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in divisional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible.
Yeah, so what is the point here? What do they do? What do they do, Mataji? Pure devotees?
Pure devotee, they engage themselves in division service, and they know he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yeah, so this is what they do. These are Mahatmanas. When Krishna say Mahatmanas, means great souls. Okay, they are not deluded. You know, sometimes I told you, right? Generally people are deluded because seeing Krishna coming in a human form, like Lord Brahma thought this must be ordinary Lord. I mean, this is some magician. This is not Supreme Lord. But pure devotees are not deluded. Okay. And what they do, they fully engage in devotional service. So these are very special devotees where they fully dedicated to Krishna consciousness. Okay. And then, yeah, there's another point here that to show that devotees, they don't sit idle. Okay, they don't sit idle and just pray only. No, what do? They satatam kirtayanto mam. It is mentioned that satatam kirtayanto means always glorifying the Lord, always preaching to others. Okay, at whatever situation. So they are always on the move, always active. Okay. 9.20. Anybody else?
Me, Mataji.
Okay, Mataji.
Trividya mam soma pa uta papa yajnair istva swargatim prarartayante ti punyam asadya surendra lokam asnanti divyan divi deva buddha. Those who study the Vedas and drink the soma juice, seeking the heavenly planets, worship me indirectly. Purified of sinful reactions, they take birth on the pious heavenly planet of Indra, where they enjoy godly delights.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. So here, Krishna is saying what happens to people who worship him indirectly. Indirectly means, sorry. Okay, so indirectly means those who are worshipping, Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita, those who worship Devas, they are actually worshipping Krishna indirectly, because the Devas, they are actually, they are the administrators of the Lord to maintain this material world. So those who worship them, they are actually indirectly worshipping Krishna. But what happens to them? This is what happens to them. When they have lots of good credit, they are elevated to heavenly planets, higher planetary system. But eventually, when they exhaust their credits, they come back to the material platform. Okay, see here, purified of sinful reactions, because they have accumulated a lot of good karma, good credits, right? After purified, they take birth on the pious heavenly planet of Indra, where they enjoy godly delights. Okay, because the life is virtuous, right? But as long as they are worshipping Krishna indirectly, they can go up to heavenly planets and they will enjoy them. They will enjoy godly delights. Okay, let's see what happens after that. After that, what happens? Anyone would like to read? Just read the English will do. This is to show what happens those who go to heavenly planets.
When they have thus enjoyed vast heavenly sense pleasure, and the results of their pious activities are exhausted, they return to this mortal planet again. Thus, those who seek sense enjoyment by adhering to the principles of the three Vedas achieve only repeated birth and death.
Yes, so this Krishna clearly says that you can go to the heavenly planets, but eventually you are going to come back. Like I mentioned here, the results, when they have thus enjoyed the results of their pious activities are exhausted, they return to the mortal planet again. So if you can see this picture here, you will know, we have seen this previously also. There are 14 planetary systems. Earth planet is in the middle. It's from the top, it's 7. Okay, I'm just going to read from the top. Okay, the top is the Lord Brahma's abode, Satyaloka or Brahmaloka. Okay, Satyaloka number 1. Below that is Tapaloka. All the tapa people who do tapa, they go there, like sages. Okay, the yogis. And then there is Jana Loka. Jana Loka is the place of 7 sages. And then there is Mahar Loka. Yeah, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then there is Swarga Loka or Indra Loka, which is the heavenly planets. So there are so many planets. Okay, it's just like one ring like that, and that is the realm of 33 million devas. Okay, and demons are also there, because demons are also very powerful. Okay, number 6 is Bhuvar Loka. Bhuvar Loka is where the Rakshasa and ghosts are residing. And you can see these Rakshasa, ghosts, demons, devas, the tapa, the yogis, all above the earth planet. So these are all the higher planetary system. And then we are at the number 7, right in the middle, Bhur Loka. Okay, right? Bhur, Bhuva, Swaha. Bhur is earth. Bhuvar is the planet for Rakshasa and ghosts. Swarga Loka is the heavenly planets. Okay? And then below we have Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, and lower planets. By worshipping the devas, we can go to the higher planets. But after enjoying, then we're going to come back and we can, we can travel up and down. We may take birth in the lower planetary system. We can take birth on the Earth planet system or higher planet system. So like this, the living entity will take birth and die, and they return to this mortal planet. So for so many times, so they'll take very long time to actually advance to go back to the spiritual world. So for a long time, you will be traveling up and down. You'll be traveling to different planets for a long time. Okay, sounds very exhaustive, right? Okay, so This is what happens if we don't worship Krishna directly. Because Krishna also already mentioned in previous chapters that whoever comes to my abode will not come back to this material world. So that is the promise that he gives. So this is the comparison to that. Okay, this is the, what do you call this? Merry-go-round, is it? This wheel. So it's like that. You're going to come back again and again and again, like a hamster. Okay, so next, anybody would like to read? It's pretty short chapter actually.
Okay, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
But those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have.
So here Krishna starts talking about his how he reciprocates with devotees. So this is very interesting. I hope you all remember the Brahmana story who scribbled the Bhagavad Gita word. Anybody remembers that story? Because he didn't believe this word, so he scribbled that, and then something happened, some story happened. Anybody remember the story? The Brahmana who scribbled this word, Vaham Yaham, he scribbled that. So here Krishna is saying what devotees get when they worship Krishna only Krishna, exclusively. So Lord Krishna reciprocate with his devotees because the devotee gives everything to Lord Krishna. So in return, Lord Krishna takes care of his devotees. He's saying here, I personally take care of whatever they lack or whatever they need, I provide. This is a very transcendental relationship. Okay. So pure devotees is always meditating on Krishna, always doing things for Krishna, and Krishna reciprocates by taking care of them. So it's never too much for Krishna to take care of so many devotees, okay? Because he's doing so many things. He's maintaining the entire universe and millions of universes, okay? So he's definitely powerful to take care of devotees, okay? And people will ask, can really Lord Krishna do that? Of course, if Lord Krishna wants to do that, to please his devotees, he will do it. So anybody remember the story, the Brahmana story? Nobody? This Brahmana, he was like suffering, there is no food, there's no money. And then when he came across this sloka in Bhagavad Gita, I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have, he got disappointed. He actually felt like this line is not true. If it is true, why Krishna has not provided me enough food and enough money? So he said, oh, Krishna is a liar, he's a cheater, and then he scribbled that word. So after that, he told the wife, okay, I'm going to go and take a shower in the river. He went. So after that, two boys came. These boys came bringing lots of food on their back. So that time the Brahmana was not in the house, only the wife. So the wife asked, who are you? Then our guru asked us to bring food. So she thought these are the students of the husband. So she also took. So while the time they, putting the things down on the floor, they were not wearing the top, right? And then she saw there was a lot of scratch mark on the body. And then she asked, oh my God, what happened to you? Who did this to you? Who abused you? Who beaten you? Oh, this one, my master did it to us. Really? No, I think they say your husband did it because that's the master, right? I don't think my husband would have done that. He's a nice person. He's not a person who will do this kind of things. Okay, then he said, okay, we need to go. So please excuse us. Then they left immediately. Then after that, the husband came and then he noticed there's a lot of food there. Hey, how come you got this food? Your students brought the food. Really? What student? How did they look like? One was dark, one was fair. Yeah, and then I also noticed that there were scratch marks on the back. Don't know, they say the master did that to them. It's such a pity, such a adorable boy, this person, this master, whoever it is, did that to them. And then he remembered that he actually strike off the word on the Bhagavad Gita so that the lines actually appeared on the back of Krishna. So this is this is like when you have this, have faith in Krishna's word. So it's like scratching his back like that. So Krishna himself brought. So of course we can expect Krishna to bring groceries to us, but Krishna can do anything. He can do anything for us. Okay.
The name is S. Start with SU.
What's that, Mataji?
SU, start with SU, what Subram? Forgot already.
You mean the Brahmana's name, is it?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I never knew that they have given a name for the Brahmana. That was another story. That one is Sudama.
Sudama, yeah, Sudama.
Yeah, that's another story.
That was a Krishna friend, Sudama.
Okay, so remember earlier we were saying that different people are being rewarded differently. Okay, this is the verse. This is their destination for them. Anybody would like to read?
Okay, Mataji.
Can, Mataji.
Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship the ancestors go to the ancestors. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings. And those who worship me will live with me. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. This is a very important verse also, because generally people think that everything is one, all worship is one, all worship will go to one. Okay, everything will go to one place eventually. But here Krishna clearly says, if you worship this personality, you will go to their abode. Okay, and we also have different abodes for different devas, like Ganesha abode or Muruga abode, like that. We have so many abodes. That is why it is called heavenly planets. It's not only one planet. Okay, everybody has their own planet, and whoever worshipping this particular deva, they will go to that planet. Okay, because they can serve the Lord, their lordship. Okay, so those who worship the devas will take the birth among the devas. Those who worship the ancestors go to the ancestors. So I think this is the, I forgot, that is the name for the loka, I forgot. So there is a planets for ancestors, so they go there. And those who worship ghosts and spirits, they also can go and take birth among them. So we want to decide what we want to worship and where we want to go. Okay, and Krishna finally says, those who worship me will live with me. Okay, so some people go to heaven, some people come back to earth, some goes to lower region. Okay, so this is the assurance that Krishna is giving. Okay. Okay, so how to perform is very easy. Okay, anyone can perform. Old, young, woman, children, animal. Okay, anybody can perform. It's very easy in that sense. Okay, no need to be worried, or I'm not educated, I don't have Sanskrit knowledge, or I can't remember. We have this kind of issue also. So very simple. For this kind of people, just learn the Maha Mantra and then you chant. And you can chant anywhere, anytime. So it doesn't matter what religion you are from, what nationality, what language you speak, what is your religion, what is your birth class, nothing matters. Okay, so Krishna is giving two ways to remember him or to serve him. First, we will see this one, 9.26, very famous verse. Who can read, please?
Oh.
If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. So, leaf, flower, fruit, or water. We can get these four things anywhere, anytime. Okay, and then that's one point. Number two, you can see here this word bhakti, either love or devotion, is mentioned twice. Krishna putting so much of emphasis on this word bhakti or devotional. This is the only means to approach Lord Krishna. It's very simple. Okay, very simple, very easy. Krishna never say you have to become a scholar, or you have to be rich, you have to offer me some opulent food, or you have to speak very well like a philosopher, then only I will show you some mercy. So Krishna never say like that. You don't have to become a scholar or rich man or wealthy man or a philosopher or very eloquent speaker. No, nothing, none of this. Okay, that's one. And then this also indicates how Krishna accepts that. How he accepts it, when you are giving it with love, he accepts it. When you're giving with pure love, he accepts it. And this also shows that if he can accept it, means he is not impersonal. Okay, as some people imagine, right? Krishna is God is impersonal. Impersonal means no form, is just light or energy. So how would Krishna tell I will accept it if he is just a light or energy or formless? Okay, he is a person, supreme person. So he says, I will accept it. Okay, so this is how this was basically telling us how easy it is to worship Lord Krishna. We need to have a lot of paraphernalia. We just need leaf, flower, fruit, water, and then the important element is bhakti. I don't remember if I have shown you the sloka from Brahma Samhita. Lord Brahma says that Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna is served by thousands of Lakshmis. We are running after one Lakshmi, but all the Lakshmis are after the Lord. So if the Lord has thousands of Lakshmis to serve him, would he need anything from us? He doesn't need anything from us. So the element that we are giving, it should be with love. That's how Krishna accepts it. Okay, and it, of course, it has to be free from contamination, mind contamination, and the generally, it has to be clean. So at least that basics should be there. Okay, yeah, so remember, love is the only qualification to serve Krishna. That is why Krishna mentioned this bhaktiya here 2 times. Okay, and then people say, I don't have bhakti, I don't have devotion, I don't have love. So how can I advance? So for this also, Krishna is so kind, he's giving this verse. Can somebody read?
Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever authorities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me.
Yeah, so this is basically talking about karma yoga. So please go back, flash back to the karma yoga chapter where it says that whatever you do, you offer some result to the God. Okay, so that is called karma yoga. You are being detached. If you don't have, you think, I don't have so much of bhakti, Mataji, I don't have love, my heart is made of stone. Okay, so we can follow this 9.27. So whatever you do it as a offering to Lord Krishna. Okay, if you are eating, then you offer that food to Lord Krishna. That is also karma yoga. If you want to give away something, you do it in the name of Lord Krishna. Okay, you want to do annadanam, then you sponsor prasadam for people. So that is in the name of Krishna. So like this, if you continuously doing karma yoga in this way, then gradually the devotion will come. Okay, so that is the point here. It has to be practical. This process is practical. That is what Krishna is giving here. And then now we are coming to the last sloka, and this is the most confidential knowledge, which is how to do bhakti. Can we have somebody to read? This is the very important one. Okay,
Engage your mind always in thinking of me, become my devotee, offer obedience to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So as I've highlighted here, there are 4 points here. Krishna is telling how to do bhakti. Think of me. Okay, so you always engage the mind thinking of his form. Okay, and then another way to think is by chanting and by hearing. So you see, under the thinking, you can do 3 things practically: engaging the mind, chanting, and hearing. You hear, like now you are hearing, this is that thinking of me. And then become his devotee, which means become his devotee only. So we don't want to be branched out to so many things. Okay, because we want to go back to Krishna and we don't want to come back. That is our ultimate aim, right? Okay, so that way we want to engage our body, mind, and activities in his service without deviation. No other ulterior motives. Okay. Next, third one, offering obeisance. Some people, they might not like to bow down, but the fact is that if you don't bow down to Krishna, you will be forced to bow down to old age, disease, death, repeated birth and death cycle. So by this is practically Krishna is recommending us to do this. All right. finally worship me. Can you see the picture here? Somebody is, I'm not sure it's Prabhupada, it's I don't know which guru or sannyasi, he's doing arati. That's the example. So this first one is thinking of me. Okay, then you become devotee, and then you offer obeisance, and then you do arati or worship. This is called worship. Okay, so and these four are the most confidential knowledge. So remember, Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all the Vedic scriptures, and if you shrink that to 6 chapters in the middle, that is the Bhakti Yoga section, and if you take the essence of it, it's in chapter 9 and 10, and this is the most important sloka, 9.34. Okay, if we are engaged in these 4 activities, we will be absorbed in Krishna consciousness, the thoughts of Krishna. Then we will be able to go back to Krishna. Okay, which is the easiest way? If you remember last week, I was telling you, this Maha Mantra is the safest prayer. So today we happen to have this slide, to support that. Remember the Vritasura, he actually came. It was a mistake. It was a mistake in the mantra. After Vishwarupa was killed by Indra, so Indra killed somebody. Okay, and the person who died, he has a father. So this father, he performed the yagya to bring out people to kill Indra. Twasta performed a sacrifice to kill King Indra. Twasta conducted a fire sacrifice and chanted a mantra to increase Indra's enemies. But because he chanted the mantra wrong, the sacrifice produced Vritasura, of whom Indra was the enemy. Okay, so with the Maha Mantra, we don't have all these complications. Okay. And then we always think that, oh, we are too young. She's still young. Let her study. We have people saying this. And then you are too much in love, too busy. And then at work, right? You're busy, too busy. And then suddenly you became too old, and then it becomes too late. I mean, I have people telling, oh, it's okay. Let me do it after I retire. But after retire, I have this pain, that pain, cannot do anything. Yeah. So while we are still fresh and young and able, that's where we engage in the service. So this is a person who's encouraging these people to read. Please spare some time to read and realize the Bhagavad Gita. Then the young one says, I'm too young. I just started my ABC. Then little older, sorry, I'm busy with exams and school. Another person, I'm in love. Maybe next time, perhaps after my wedding. I am expecting, we are having a family now. In any case, I asked my husband and get back to you. And then the old lady, I'm too weak and tired with aches and pains. Finally, the person died. I'm too late. I did not act to realize my true identity. I have wasted my human birth. My colorful life with money, family, and friends is useless at the time of death. And then the angel of death, right? It is time for you to accept another body. However, there is no guarantee that you will get a human body in your next life. Yeah, so getting another life is not as bad as getting a non-human life. That is the worst fear. The worst fear is may not be taking a birth again, but the worst fear is getting a animal life or plant life. You don't know how long you will live, and your consciousness, everything, so we have to appreciate this human life. So just like these flowers, right? We want to give people a fresh flower. Actually, for information, this flower I did in the temple, I think 2 years back. Okay, so we don't want to offer an old flower. We don't want to offer that. Okay. So how to engage in loving devotion? So let's do a quick recap. What are the 4 things Krishna mentioned? Man mana bhava mad bhaktho. Mat yaji mam namaskuru.
Fruits, leaf, offer any, offer what you have offer fruits, leaf, water,
fruit, water, leaf, patram.
Flower, Mataji.
Patram is patram pushpam phalam toyam. Pushpam, flower. Toyam is water, I think. Patram pushpam phalam, fruit.
Leaf,
Yeah, leaf, flower, water, and fruit. Okay, patram, pushpam, phalam, toyam. Okay, and then the most confidential knowledge, the four things, what Krishna said.
think of me,
Very good,
become my devotee,
very good,
offer obeisances and worship me.
very good. Thank you, Mataji. Very good. Yeah. So, very nice. So, what is the meaning of the most confidential knowledge? Is the knowledge about pure, unalloyed devotion. Okay, Krishna talked about how he created, maintained, and destroyed this world by his majestic powers. Fools and jnanis approach Krishna in different ways. Direct bhakti to Krishna is the best. Krishna is specially inclined to a devotee and forgives him for accidental mistakes. Okay, this is also mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. We didn't cover like one by one of the verses. This extends basically. Okay. So confidential, more confidential, and most confidential. Remember, confidential was in chapter 2 to 6, where we learn about Sankhya Yoga, knowledge about spirit, soul, and body. And then when it comes to more confidential, Krishna's introduced devotional service. In most confidential knowledge, Krishna teaches how to do that, how to do pure devotional service, not mixed. Okay, it's also called Ananya Bhakti or Kevala Bhakti, not mixed Bhakti. So we have Srimad Bhagavatam. Just like last week, it was 750. Actually, original price was 1,200, and then it went down to 750 because somebody sponsored, partially subsidized it. Now it's gone up a little bit only, 800, just 50 ringgit extra, but it's still, you save a lot compared to 1,200. So I recommend grab this opportunity to get this. Okay, you will never get this price again. So only a certain number of books only that Prabhu has. So after finish means it will go back to 1,200. Okay, Bhagavad Gita also we have offer. Okay, now it's 150. Last week all it was 130. So average one book is 13. Now it's still good. It's still a good buy. 15 ringgit per book. So you can give as a Christmas gift to everybody. Okay, I'm actually planning to do that for my family also. Okay, any questions, Matajis? So we finished slightly early.
I bought Sri Bhagavatam, 19 something. I bought 700 only.
When, Mataji?
44 book on that one small.
Bhagavatam, okay. That's a good price, Mataji.
I bought it long ago.
I bought it 1,000 plus long ago.
Then Bhagavad Gita, I bought it at $10 only in 1998.
Yes. Oh, the recent one, right, Mataji? The 10 books, right?
That one 10 book. Before I also bought $30, $25.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I also give people away, give Bhagavad Gita away for relative or who newcomer from and I also give it to them.
Yeah. It's good.
I given only 4 books only. 10 books I given. I have at balance assisting I got 6. Then that day I bought 10, I got 16. Then I give away 4. Now I still left 12 with me.
I see. Good, Mataji. It's a good distribution.
Also Chan and Be Happy.
Yeah.
Finish only 500 book I print. And then I still got the Lucy worship and caring for Turusi. That one only I give away 50 books. I print 500 books. Still with me so many. I no chance to give away a book.
Christmas coming, Mataji. Distribute as a Christmas gift.
Yeah.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. What about level 3? You say you want to talk about level 3?
Did I say? Level 3. After this one, Mataji. So we are at the top of the mountain now. So now we are going to go down 10, 11, 12, 13, 18. After that, level 3.
Level 3, yeah.
Now we are exactly in the middle of the journey.
I still want to join level 3.
Can. Nice, Mataji. Okay, Matajis.
Okay, good night.
Okay, good night.
Mataji, thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
No.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you very much.